and welcome back to my channel, LuvvLori. Today's video is going to be all about the Balm's AUTOBALM PIC PERF Palette. So I received this as an item in like a mystery Ipsy bag a while back, and it wasn't really a palette that I've heard talked about very much, so I was really intrigued to get to try it. I have had eyeshadows from the Balm before that I really liked, so I was excited to try something that I hadn't tried before. So today's video, we're going to go through, I'm going to talk a little bit about an overview, just give you some details on the palette. We'll go through some swatches. I'll show you how I got the look that I have on today. That's from this palette. And then I'll just give you some of my final wrap-up thoughts about it. So this palette has 5 shimmer shades and 2 matte shades and this neutral primer that's like in a pan form that you're supposed to be able to use in lieu of eye primer. It is on sale right now. The Balm's website always has sales for $13.25, and it comes in this little tin can. It's pretty interesting too because there's this insert inside where you can pull out the actual shades from the tin and potentially store something else in the tin once your eyeshadows are used up, so that's kind of interesting. And then of course everything's super kitschy like it always is with the Balm. Objects may be more beautiful than they appear and underneath the mirror, which is kind of cute, and I'm a fan of puns and stuff anyways. So I tend to really think the Balm stuff is clever, even if a lot of people may find it cringy. So there's that. So yeah, overall the color scheme, it leans more neutral. There's a couple of pops, if you want to call them that, but it's kind of neutral with a twist. So it's not just browns. Things have kind of interesting undertones, and a lot of the shades are actually really unique, which you'll see in the swatches, which we'll go ahead and start on now. Like I said, it's really kind of an interesting feature how these shades come out of the palette. This is something that I haven't really seen, but I appreciate that if I wanted just a compact with a mirror, that I could put maybe some rings in or whatever else, like hair ties, bobby pins or something to keep in my purse. That's kind of a really cool thing to be able to reuse the packaging. And I also appreciate that it's not plastic packaging, so this is kind of maybe one of my favorite packaging components I've seen on an eyeshadow palette in a really long time. Okay, so as you can see, I have forearm tattoos, so this will be kind of interesting for swatches, but in any case, I think you'll get an idea still of the pigment level of the shadows, etc. So let's go. So as you can see, really the only shade that I would say swatches kind of like a dud is Broadway. It's just a little bit more sheer, but it's still kind of got this kind of duochrome type of feel to it. And Sunset Boulevard is kind of a surprising shade too. As you can see, it looks kind of teal in the pan, which I don't know how much I'd wear this color. It's kind of, I would say, gonna be a little bit of a dud for me just because that's not a shade I'd get a lot of use out of, but it's kind of one of those like blue-brown shades. I also feel like the Ocean Drive shade isn't coming across as purple on camera as it does in person. And you can see just how fantastic those mattes are. Super smooth. Look how opaque they are. These swatch really well. They are just the slightest bit chunky, so I don't know if you can see, just digging my fingers in as hard as I did, I kind of got some clumps in my shadows in the pan. That's the thing to consider if you're using your finger. Maybe just be gentle so you don't damage them because they are kind of on the soft side. But yeah, overall I feel like these swatch super strong and representative of how they perform for the most part. Okay, so I'm going to keep you zoomed in pretty close for this part so that way you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just going to be kind of using the little palette, yes, but also no, and also yes. Little mirror that comes in this palette. Do my best here. I'm going to try the primer. This is a part of the palette that I haven't used yet, and we'll just see how it goes. It looks dark in the pan, but maybe sheared out it'll be okay, so we'll see. Okay, so the verdict here is it's passable. So like I wouldn't use this again probably because part of what I like about eye primers is when they actually like help brighten up a little bit. And this is like maybe a half a shade darker than my skin, even when sheared out. So it's kind of just deepening up that area a little bit, which is probably not really coming across on camera, but I don't love the eye primer even if it does eye primer well. Next, I'm just going to go in with a fluffy brush and this St. Charles shade. So let's just go ahead and blend that in the crease. So not really in the mood to go for the blues today, so this look is going to be pretty straightforward. As you can see, this shade is very pigmented and is blending really easily. Yeah, that's a very, very, very solid shade. So now I'm going to go in with a slightly less fluffy crease brush, a little bit more dense, and go into this slightly darker kind of olivey green shade and just deepen things. See, again, very pigmented. So I'm just blending this into my crease and kind of bringing it across my lid a little bit on the outside. The other thing that I'd like to point out is that these shades don't have a ton of kickback. There's a little bit that I'd like to blow away, but it's nothing like an Anastasia shadow or anything. It's relatively light kickback for how well these blend. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. The shapes don't match up exactly, but that's like me being stupid, not the palette, so I'm good with it. So now I'm going to go in with the Market Street shade and just put that on my lid with my finger. I tend to like shimmers with my finger. So it's actually pretty blingy too, I like it. It's not an overly bright shade, so I don't know that it's necessarily coming across as metallic as it actually is. So I'm gonna put on the rest of my face makeup and then we'll come back and do like lower lash line and brow bone and I'll show you how those perform as well. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put on the rest of my makeup now, so I'm gonna go in and do my lower lash line and also highlighter. It was difficult for me because I usually just use my face highlighter on my like inner corner and brow bone because I like the way that looks and it's like one less thing. Especially because of the order where I do my makeup, where I do most of my eyes, then face, and then come back and finish up my eyes. That tends to be like the least amount of back and forth, but I want to show you how this shade performs. So we're going to go ahead and use Rodeo Drive. It's also like a little bit deep, I feel like, for my brow bone. You can definitely, like, the gold is really coming through. So I don't necessarily love it on my brow bone, but in the inner corner it's really nice. Okay, so now I'm also going to blend a little shadow on my lower lash line. I'm going to go in with Ocean Drive. It's kind of like this purpley type of bronze shade. Does anyone else chronically get eyeshadow in their eyeball when they do their lower lash line. Sometimes I don't even bother with lower lash line eyeshadow because it's so annoying. And I tap off the excess powder, but I think just like the act of blending kind of gets it in there and it's real annoying. So I didn't bring that all the way in because I don't want to look too like raccoony, so I kind of mostly just kept it on the outside. But so that's it for the eyeshadow. I'm going to put mascara on and then like show you the finished look and like my face and stuff. So BRB. Okay, so this is our final look. As you can see, I feel like it's pretty blown out. I really like it. This is a look that I've done with this palette before and that I would definitely do again. I really like the lid shade. It's actually pretty unique. Yeah, overall very happy with it. And it was really easy and quick to put together. Alright, so now that you've seen the swatches and we've kind of gone through the look, which I think you can kind of tell that I really actually like this palette a lot. I think it has some very unique shades while still being wearable for me. They're neutrals, but with a little bit of a twist so that there's something different and it doesn't just feel like I'm wearing my typical bronze eyeshadows. Even this look, which turned out very neutral, up close there's some nuance with the green undertones and that gunmetal shade and the purple and that bronze, and I really like this palette. Overall, especially considering I got this in an Ipsy mystery bag, but I would even say it's worth the $13.25 that the Balm is charging right now. So if you think these shades are something that are interesting to you, I would actually definitely recommend this palette. Also, the other thing that I wanted to mention is that there's another version of this. So the AUTOBALM series, there's this Pick Perf one and then one called Day to Night, which has some different shades. I'll throw a picture of it up so you can see. It's the same price. I would guess that the formula is pretty close to the same. The formula is one of my favorite things about this palette. I think the shades are really nicely pigmented and easy to blend without being overly powdery or overly pigmented so that you feel like you have to be extra super careful. So if you're interested in the other color scheme too, I think especially for half price, maybe just think about getting both if they're colors that you'd wear. So overall, I'm very happy with this palette. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if palette reviews are something that you'd like to see more of. I love eyeshadow palettes. I think overall it's probably my favorite makeup item just because they're so fun and there's like the most differences and it's kind of the thing that you can play around with the most. So yeah, I hope if you enjoyed, you'll hit the like button and subscribe so you can check out some more of my videos. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Beauty, fashion, lifestyle, fun things. So hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.